Good evening, everyone. So sorry for starting the debate late. We sort of postponed it to 9:30 because of our previous debate taking a little bit more time, and we also had a few technical issues before starting this debate. So once again, apologies to everyone. This is the debate for the treasurer's position. With me, I have our office bearer Aurelia Wardana. Our second office bearer will not be showing up today because he is under the weather, unfortunately. Our candidates for today are Koki Taniguchi and Shellen Marshala Goe from Ignivitas, Abdullah Khan from Liderantia, and Kazia and Senia Judiva, who are running independently. Just a bit of a self-introduction. My name is Sean Pan. I am this year's annual election returning officer. With me, I also have my deputy returning officer, Alethea Goh. However, she is in the background and will be working to run and maintain the stream. Now, just a few reminders for the audience. Remember to keep comments respectful, meaning no hate speech, no spamming questions. I think that goes without saying, but yeah lah, it's just like that. Another thing is you guys are permitted to ask questions in the chat at any time throughout the stream regarding anybody's manifesto at all. Do try to keep your general questions as general as possible, but you are also allowed to direct your questions at specific candidates if you need to. Now, let's move on to talking about the agenda just so that we are all clear about what's going to happen today. Alethea? Okay, so we have our introduction by Election Commission, which is what I'm doing now. After we talk about the agenda, we will move into our opening statements by our candidates where they are going to talk about their manifestos and policies and just give you a good impression of themselves. After that, we'll do cross-examination within candidates where the candidates will ask each other questions based on their manifestos, giving each other the chance to clarify things or sort of attack each other on what they believe in. Another thing, we'll have question and answer by office bearer, where Aurelia will come out and ask our candidates questions. After that, we'll move into the question and answer session by our audience, where I will be presenting your questions to the candidates, allowing them the chance to address your questions in the comments. After that, we will have our closing statements by our candidates, and after our candidates' closing statements, we will finally end with a closing by the Election Commission. Without further ado, I would like to pass the mic on to Abdullah Khan. Abdullah, it's your turn to do the opening statement. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Sean. First of all, good evening. I would like to thank ROs and audience to allow me to speak on such a huge platform. My name is Abdullah Khan. I'm in my year 2, SEM 1. Moreover, I'm majoring in banking and finance and minoring in applied economics. Professionally, I work as a stock market trader remotely. Because of this job and my major, I can safely say that I have both theoretical and practical knowledge and experience in finance. I decided to contest for the MUSA treasurer position because of two factors. Firstly, I believe that I am the right candidate for this position because I possess some qualities such as conflict resolution and managing expenses. Secondly, I can sense that there are some issues in the treasury department that I can address efficiently. Moving on to my manifesto, my first point emphasizes on a constant flow of communication between me and my team members. I think it is highly important for my team members to share a collective vision in order to run the department efficiently. Furthermore, I plan to organize meetings with my team on daily basis or weekly basis, if it's possible. Additionally, I would make sure that I respond to their concerns and queries on a priority basis. The second point of my manifesto highlights the importance of taking decisions aligning with the current economic conditions. For example, if God forbid our finance department allocates a budget that is not adjusted to the year-on-year inflation, then I would try to convince them with my logical reasoning that a budget adjusted to inflation should be considered. Also, recently, an event has been heavily criticized by the students for its ticket price, which is quite expensive. To counter this backlash, I plan to conduct surveys to know the pulse of the students' affordability while deciding the price tag of such as Monash merchandise. Thirdly, one of the issues that currently office bearers are facing is delayed payment processing. For example, I'm in the on the managing committee of Pakistan community. The reimbursement for one of the events of Pakistan community was delayed for more than a month. So I would like to show that we at the Treasury Department swiftly forward the budget proposal to finance and remain in contact with the department to make sure the payments are processed timely. Lastly, I would like to emphasize on the importance of keeping my team motivated. Motivated individuals have good outlook at work and are very flexible, especially when it comes to change. They promote organization positive reputation and boost productivity. That's all from my side. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Abdullah, for your opening statement. Now, I would like to pass the mic over to Kasia Juliva and Senior Juliva, who are running independently. Guys, the floor is yours. You may begin with your opening statement now.
Hello everyone. Thank you for coming to this session. First of all, we would like to introduce ourselves. My name is Kezia and currently a second year business student.
I'm Senia and I'm also a second year business student. Currently, we are pursuing accountancy as our major, and we are interested in running for MUSA Treasurer's 2023 position.
We believe we can add valuable contribution to this department as we have prior experience of being current auditors of MUSA 2022, in which our job is to look after the fundamentals of the Treasury Department. Now, there are several things we would like to state.
As treasurers, we are aware that we'll be dealing with funds, procedures, and proposals almost daily. In dealing with funds, we know honesty is the most important aspects. Hence, we will make sure that treasurers must always reflect and act based on the moral integrity.
Moreover, it is as well vital to maintain the transparency as what has been done to this year's Treasury Department. By keeping electronic record of every procedure in an organized and structured manner, we agree that this will prevent the misuse of funds as well as providing easier process to make the annual financial statement, which will be presented to everyone in the annual general meeting.
Furthermore, we'll strive to improve the efficiency in our future department, especially to prevent delayed budget. Being current auditors, we witness that there are always numbers of budget proposals which needs to be revised. However, some are left with notice of need revision without being revised until the event ended. As a result, they should be changed to a cash reimbursement procedure. Seeing this, we conclude that it is rather wise to request funds 3 to 4 weeks in advance so there's enough room for revision.
Besides that, we believe that communication is as equal important as the previously stated aspects. Within the Treasury Department ourselves, we will value the opinions of each member and always try to be responsive if there are questions raised. Hence, this will increase the efficiency in the flow of funds. Moreover, we will try to always communicate closely with the person in charge of the proposals in case revision is needed so that it can be processed as soon as possible. That is all from us. Thank you.
Thank you, Kasia and Senior, for your wonderful opening statement as well. Now it is time for Koki Taniguchi and Shelin Marcella Gui for their opening statement. Guys, the floor is yours. Feel free to start.
Okay, thank you. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Koki Taniguchi. I'm a business student is majoring in business analytics in year 2, Sem 1. The reason why I became interested in business analytics is because I was curious about structures, how business consists of, and how to analyze if resources like human resources and money allocated properly in those activities. Currently, I have participated in an internship as a role managing course on cloud computing used by all employees in the company for 11 months. And I believe that the experience helps me in the position of MUSA treasurer too. Likewise, since I enrolled at Monash University, I have been so curious about how organizations managed by students arrange their activities financially. Thus, I decided to be in the position and a member of MUSA.
Hello everyone. I am Shal Marshalagui, a business student majoring in accountancy and business analytics. I am currently in my second year, first semester. So as this opportunity comes to us where we could run for the treasurer position that is also happen to align with our area of studies and interests, me and Koki would like to give our utmost contribution to the Monash Society through our skills and knowledge. So majoring in Both accountancy and BA happens to allow me to have the knowledge and familiarity that is applicable to this position. For example, majoring in accountancy allows me to gain knowledge and familiarity about the accounting related records and terms that are used in the Treasury Department, while majoring in BA helps me gain exposure on utilization of technology which can be used to enhance the financial procedures. In terms of organizational skills, I have been joining some organizations such as PPI and MAFC as committee and subcoms. So these experiences have taught me how important teamwork is, how important engagement and coordination among team members and communication, how everything works behind the scenes, and also further sharpen my soft and hard skill. That's all from me. Okay.
Okay. Next, let's move on to the explanation of manifestos. We have five manifestos as financial transparency, appropriate budget allocation, reporting and tracking system, clear job description, and solid communication within the Treasury Department and with other external parties. I will describe the first two manifestos, financial transparency and appropriate budget allocation. The first manifesto is transparency. We ensure that everyone can see the fund trackers for transparency, even though general Monashians cannot see the ledgers. Instead of the ledgers, we have an opportunity to explain about our expenditures through utilization of technology to show fund data like a graphical analysis and annual general meeting. Also, the utilization of some functions like graphical representation helps us to understand how costs are used by different organizations like clubs and societies in a short time. Therefore, it will also be easier to share with the relevant departments when we need to consider if a new budget proposal is proper or not by the data at a glance. Second manifesto is appropriate budget allocation. To allocate budget optimally, we will defer to budgets in past years, basically. However, we will not fully rely on that and still need to consider costs of future events which may differ from past years and analyze if they cost more or less than budgets. To deal with this budgeting, it will be important to make sure manifestos are conducted consistently, such as close communication with relevant organizations, which Shalan is going to explain now.
So for our term manifestos is reporting and tracking system. So to improve the current system, we believe that this is our responsibility to first monitor and reflect on the current accounting structure and systems. By doing so, we will be able to have a clear understanding of the details and procedures. Then we could either keep the system that has proven efficient and modify things that can be improved further. And the fourth one is clear job description. We see a clear job description as a basic but crucial factor that a team department should have, because having a clear job description that is also clearly communicated to the members would enable members to have a better understanding of their job. And in addition, procedural changes can be made to the current system, so it is critical to keep members informed on this update. And the last one is solid communication, which is a strong communication and relationship between team members is important. Besides making members feel comfortable with the working environment, strong communication makes it easier for the team members to discuss and address problems. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Koki and Sheldon, for your wonderful opening statement as well. Now, I believe that it is time for us to move from the opening statement onto the cross-examination period between candidates. You guys are going to go against each other. Just remember to keep the discussion civil and diplomatic. Anyone can start now.
Shall I go first? Okay. My question is directed to Ignivitas candidates. So my question is, MUSA treasurer usually have a lot of subcoms, which means that the meaning of subcom is usually lost with the relevance to their job scopes. How many subcoms do you plan to add into your team, and how will you manage their workload?
So in the handbook, it is stated like under treasurer there will be analyst, auditor, and secretary, right? And for the time being, like we still have no clear understanding. Like the office bearers haven't told us the complete task of our treasurer. So when we have full access to it, we will know how the workload is, how much we have to assign to each person. But currently, I think for the auditors, it's four, right? I think it's sufficient because they are the one who need to cross check everything. And then, as for secretary, actually, I was planning like we were planning like um we one of our manifestos is like to maintain communication, and one of the way to implement it is like through meetings. And but there's a problem that may arise from it, which is absenteeism. So we plan to like for the people who cannot attend the meeting, we can make some kind of meeting minutes and it can be assigned to the secretary. And then yeah, the analysis is to to identify the weakness that our treasurer have and to report it to the general meeting. So I think for the current time, like it is sufficient. And maybe adding subcoms, yeah, we need to see the complete view of being of the treasurer task first before we can decide on that. That's all from me. Thank you.
Kazia and Senior, would you like to ask the next question?
Okay, I would like to ask Koki and Shellen. From your manifesto, you mentioned about the monthly internal meetings for the Treasury departments in order to address issues and keep track of the department. Why would you think that monthly meetings would be the best option to keep track about the updates and about the concerns faced by the members? And why not choose any other alternative way?
Thank you for asking us the question. The monthly meeting is for making our teams more solid, and continuous contact is for informing them new updates. So we're gonna differentiate those meetings. Yeah.
Yeah, and to add on, like by conducting a meetings where, well, we want to be flexible. It can be online and it can be physical. So by conducting a direct meeting like that, instead of just informing them through chats or stuff, like we could directly direct them and just have their updates on their task and stuff. So it will be more efficient to conduct a monthly meeting. And then yeah, just to prevent absence, then we can set a fixed meeting schedule on that. For example, in the last week of the month. And then we also, yeah, to address absence, like what I said before, we can make meeting minutes that is done by the secretary. And then for things such like urgent meetings, like we have to communicate beforehand to the members that urgent meetings are something that could happen, so they have, yeah, the bigger picture of it. And then, yeah, I think that's all. Thank you for the question.
Can I ask a follow-up question from the innovators candidates?
Um, is it returning to what they just answered?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Don't you guys think that the holding meeting once a month is too long? Like you should have a meeting a week on weekly basis.
So, so we actually consider weekly meetings too. But for this monthly meetings, it's like a different thing. So this monthly meeting is just to for us to conclude everything that happens in that month, so that we will know. And for weekly meetings, yeah, we will surely consider about that, because yeah, it's important to keep the all things updated, because budget proposal will be directed to us, like, I don't know, maybe in a week there will be few budget proposals directed to us. So we have to like communicate with each other to, yeah, to address and to track everything. Yeah. Thank you.
Koki and Shalon, would you like to ask the next question?
Yeah, sure. Okay, then I have a question for Abdullah. The first manifesto, the constant flow of communication. My question is how often do you plan to communicate with all members of the treasury departments? Each member has their own activities besides for MUSA, right? And how would you address this problem and ensure continuous communication can be achieved?
Yeah, I think I will hold a meeting when it is required, but I will keep in touch with the departments via WhatsApp or Discord, that I'm available to them when it is required. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Abdullah. Would you like to ask the next question?
Okay, my next question is directed towards independent candidates. So previously, MUSA has been a target of lot of criticism regarding fund management and allocation. How will you ensure such issues are resolved and funds are allocated equally and on a need base? Please specify the steps.
At first, in the beginning of our period, we will hold a meeting for every department so that they are given the opportunity to present about their plan detail, about their planning events for the period. And we would like to ask them to estimate about their budget so that we have the picture about the budget that we are going to allocate for them. And in the end of our period, there's also AGM, the annual general meeting, where all of the budget spent will be presented for the public to see so that there will be no misuse of funds, and we can ensure that there will be no misallocation of funds because of that. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kasian Senior. Would you like to ask the next question?
Yes, I would like to ask Abdullah. Do you mind telling us what is the measure you would like to take to quicken up the process of payment, just like what you stated in your manifesto?
Okay. So I sensed this issue when I talked to one of the CRs. He told me that he used his own funds to conduct an event, and due to the late payment processing, he was severely struggling to maintain its own expenses. I would make sure that I don't leave my colleagues and offer beer in such a position. I plan to remain in contact with the relevant department to make sure that payments are processed timely. I will remind them on daily basis or weekly basis, how keeping in mind that how it is required. So yeah, that's my answer.
Thank you, Abdullah. I believe that Koki and Shellen, it is your turn to ask them the questions now.
Yeah, thank you. So I have a question for Kazia and Sania. Um, in your second manifesto, you guys said that you will give full disclosure of annual financial statements. So, can you please elaborate more on how transparent would you be in revealing the finance of MUSA and in communicating the budget for every department? Like, because in communicating the budget, like there's a possibility that criticism may arise on how the budget is located, like such as where one department receive more than the others and stuff. So how do you plan to address these thoughts? Thank you.
So for the financial statement disclosure, we will disclose fully in the annual general meeting, and everyone is allowed to enter so that question raised will be answered as well according to the budget that we have spent. And also for the proposed budget for our period, it will also be disclosed on the same annual general meeting, like for the for the previous period for MUSA 2022 in our terms, that we also will evaluate their terms, and in the same general meeting as well, just what I have mentioned just now, we also will disclose about the proposed budget for our period, and question raised or like criticism, we will talk and discuss in the same meeting as well. So everybody are allowed to question something, or maybe like to talk about whether if there is unfairness or for the budget that we allocated.
Thank you, Kezia and Senior. We have time for one more question, so I think this one can be perhaps asked by anyone who is up for taking it.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
Okay, my question is directed towards ignivorous candidates. So, if you guys do get elected as a MUSA treasurer, how will you manage your workload on top of the MUSA treasury?
Okay, so for workload, personally, I have the habit like to plan all my activities and all my tasks out. So I will divide my responsibilities between academics and then clubs or organization and also leisure. So it's like, and when making my schedule, like I will divide and identify which task has a greater priority and should have more time allocation on it. Then I will consider all of that, and then I will just schedule my time of it. Because yeah, I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys for that cross-examination period. I think now it is time to move on to the question and answer session with the office bearer. So with that, I would like to invite Aurelia to come up. Aurelia, the floor is yours. Feel free to ask them any questions you have regarding their manifestos.
Okay, thank you, Sean. So my first question would be directed to Abdullah. So me and my partner saw in your manifesto that you plan to take decisions aligning with the current economic conditions. Can you elaborate more on that, and how does it relate to being a MUSA treasurer?
So, as you guys know, that in this era, we are facing high inflation. So, I would keep in mind that the inflation is number is high. So, if a club demands me uh, a higher budget, so I will adjust to the budgets accordingly. And if they are asking for a higher budget, I will consider the budgets. And also to add up, while deciding the also we are facing low high unemployment rates because of recession. So also for deciding the prices of events or the, for example, merchandise, I will be keeping in mind that the current the economic conditions, and I will allocate I will decide the price that is suited to the students. So most of the I can accommodate most of the students. Thank you.
Okay, just to clarify on your answer, so the budget allocation for the year is not set by the treasurers. It's set by the Monash University, Australia. and they only give us like the final amount. For example, this year we're given 540K, so we cannot argue with them whether we want more from that. So all you can do is just like where to split this 540K. So yeah, just to give you a heads up on that. And my next question would be to Kazia and Senya. So as you know, the current delayed funding process for events are mainly caused by revisions needed to the documents. But especially for the CNS division, we as treasurers do not have the club's details and contact number for each club's treasurers, right? And therefore, we just put the revisions needed in the remarks section. Most of the time, they did not revise the documents, and it causes backlogs in the current fund tracker. So what would you do to ensure they revise these documents?
At first, I would like to suggest that we add a section for the club's treasurer's contact and name, and moreover, it is also already written on the remark. However, we understand that the club's treasurer cannot always look at the remarks and notify them. So we actually plan to send an email to the contacts of the treasurer so that they can revise their budget proposals and they can later send them to the CNS treasurer for the revision they have done.
All right, thank you for your answer. I think that's a very good process for the future. And then next question is towards Koki and Shelin. So I saw from your manifesto that you stated appropriate budget allocation would be given to other departments or divisions. What method can you use to ensure that this happens? Because sometimes they're fighting for funds against each other.
Thank you for. Sorry. Thank you for asking for us the question. I think not allocating too much or too little for events, but sorry, by reflecting on the past experience, but not fully relying on that as well. I'm sorry. As we still need to analyze all the necessities of the future events, which may differ from the past years events. So, to determine the budget allocation for events, first of all, we need to know whether the events are generating revenue or not. And secondly, we need to know the number of expected participants and how much they charge the participants, as it means there is a budget which comes from amenities that students pay. For example, 2,000 ringgit for 10 people, it means one person take up 200 ringgit for the event, which does not make sense, right? And we would also consider if it is an annual event and reflect on their past performances. And nextly, we have to think about the impact of the event to the Monash society, if it is highly engaging or not, and see whether the events held are relevant to its respective this respective departments, uh, like School of Business departments holding business-related events, or all clubs holding an event that is aligned with their specific areas. Yeah, that could be the answer, right? Okay.
Okay, thank you for your feedback. So currently we're discussing of making a price book where we can set like a maximum price for events, like for medium events or for small events or for big events, so that it's fair to all departments and divisions. But we're still processing on that. Okay, so my next question is towards all candidates. After learning the job scope and responsibilities of being a MUSA treasurer during the training, what improvements would you think is possible for next year?
Can I go first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So currently, our access to the accounting system and structure is still limited, right? But we still have the access to like the AGM and also the annual general meeting report and also the fund tracker. So um, I actually want to highlight what I want to highlight is about the fund tracker. So um, and for the fund tracker, we think that so it is being shared, right? The drive, it's being shared by the treasurer for the treasury department, the treasurer of the other departments. So based on our observation, like given the access of the file, the Excel file, there is a possibility that one could unintentionally or intentionally edit the other's information. But we are aware that sharing the file is something necessary as they need to key in their details to propose budget and they need to know the status of their proposals too. So in the meantime, we do not know if there is a preventive act regarding this matter from the current OBs, but I think once we have full access that enables us to fully understand the current system, we will try our best to minimize the chance of such things to happen. For example, like uh, we will have someone to constantly checking and monitoring the fund tracker, or maybe we will have our own separate fund tracker files on the update of the budget proposals so that we can reconcile it with the shared ones. And yeah, this is just to check and ensure that the status updated by the treasurer, whether it is approved or not, is not like manipulated by the others. And then, besides looking at the Excel files alone, we think that there are small but impactful changes that can be made, such as if you look at the Excel files, it's like there's a lot of label for the details need to be filled by the fund requester, and it is represented in a column like this long column. So We surely know that there are a lot of details that need to be filled, making people need to scroll far to the right, right? So for the details that are far to the right, there's a possibility that people may fill in the details in the wrong row. So the description of the detail is like here. Like for the events, the list of events is here, and the details is filled like this. So if they scroll to the right, they cannot see the details. So they need to there's a possibility that they will fill the row wrongly. So the solution is like just simple. It's a simple solution, which is we just freeze the pane of the first four columns, which present the like the date of submission or the department names, even names or requester names. So we have something to be reference, like we have reference to the right row. And then in the current fund tracker, the budget proposal of each fund is being fitted into only one Excel sheet. Uh, so with many budget proposals directed to the Treasury Department each month, and now that we've reached the month of September, the individual dealing with the fund tracker needs to scroll the way down to fill or check on the details, which we find quite troublesome. And also, yeah, there's possibility of error too. So we think that it will be better that the budget proposal for each month is put to different Excel sheets for just for efficient tracking. But yeah, again, during and even after the shadowing period, we could still continuously analyze deeper on the system. So we have full understanding of it, and maybe we can discuss with the current OBs regarding things that can be improved. Yeah, that's all from me. Thank you.
Shall I go next? Okay. So I feel like there are three major areas where I can improve in the Treasury Department. Firstly, I feel like there sort of a miscommunication in the department currently. So I plan to improve the communication. There are certain steps to improve the communication. I think the first step is to listen to the demands of the clubs and the office bearers. Secondly, I would prefer my office bearers or clubs to meet in person so that we can have a nice debate and we can know each other what each other's plans, so we can allocate the budget uh, efficiently. Thirdly, I would like to maintain a regular contact with the OBs and the clubs. If possible, I will have an open door policy and let my OBs know that they can come to me at any time or ask any question or raise concerns. If this may not be the possible, so I will take out an hour out of my schedule each day, so any office bearer or club can come to me and discuss their plans. Secondly, I think I can improve b- while deciding the prices of different events or like Monash merchandise. So I plan to hold surveys in which I can know the affordability of the students and then decide uh, what should I make the price so that I can accommodate most of the students. Lastly, you all know that there is a payment processing problem in the department. So I would be in touch with the finance department to process the payments as soon as possible. Thank you.
Okay, so from our experience, we saw that the current system is already doing really well, but still lacking in some parts, such as the lack of communication line. If there are some remarks noted by the auditors or treasurers to the proposer of the proposal, which can slow down the process of fund proposing by clubs or departments. So we propose to make a two-way of communication through emails, and we will make use of our Treasury Department secretary to communicate to the respective clubs whose proposals needs a revision. But if somehow the proposal is still unapproachable, we will try to contact them through a personal text. However, other than those, we cannot do anything else since we have tried our utmost best to get in contact with them. That's all for me.
Okay, and then my next question is also directed to all candidates. How would you ensure other departments or divisions follows the fund request process outlined by Monash University? This is because like some departments keep on submitting the fund request close to the event date, which causes the funding to be late. And also sometimes the departments do not submit the financial report and the CIA report for the reconciliation part. And yeah, so how would you ensure that they submit the correct documents on time?
So first of all, we would like to propose a training for all of the departments so that they are aware of our standard of procedure and our all of our standards to request the funds. Mainly, maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and we will also disclose the consequences for the late submission of funds that is the longer time to process, as there may be some revision along in the way. And also, if it is near the deadline, we will advise for the Department of Division to change to cash reimbursement, as it is impossible to revise as the event has been done. So I think it is better for them to apply for cash reimbursement. Thank you.
So, okay. I think this problem can only be resolved by through better communication. As I said in my speech, that I plan to establish regular contacts with the OBs and the clubs and societies. I will ask them about their progress and be available if they have any queries and questions. Thank you.
Okay, so from us is that to solve this problem, yeah, before the terms begins, like we will first like clarify all the regulations, all the requirements inside the handbook, like the all the procedure and all the step that we need to comply with. We will clarify all of that, so that there will be no ambiguity and to prevent the future misconduct. So we will be contacting the finance department to seek for clarity for that. And then before the term begins, we will also brief all the departments about the full step, like all the complete step for the budget proposal and then like I heard that like last semester, like there are a lot of changes for the regulations, so that For that, I think we should hold like a meeting that will update all the departments on that, and then we will also like discuss with members so that we could know what they think is unclear, and then we can, and if there happens to be an ambiguity, like we will seek again for clarification from the Monash authority as fast as we could and inform it back to the other members. And yeah, I think that's all. Koki, maybe you want to add?
Okay. In addition to it, about the late submission is important. That we believe that it would be best for us to be fair and follow the predetermined regulations. And in the case where the event is approaching and there is no way to postpone the event, we would still consider communicating the situation to the finance and follow their further decision and instruction. But still, our rule of thumb is to comply with the existing regulations, and as the preventive measure, we will ensure that all the departments know all the steps and requirements by conducting a meeting specifically to give information on regulations and address questions from the members.
All right. Thank you for your answers.
Thank you guys so much for a question. Thank you guys so much for your question and answer session between the OBs and the candidates. Now it's time for us to look at our questions that we have gotten from the audience. And I'm glad to say that we have quite a few. So this one is from Jamal Ahmad and this one is for Koki. So for Koki, you've spoken about financial transparency where you plan on making fund trackers public. This has always been kept confidential between departments. Will this not create problems? What steps will you take to ensure that this transparency is maintained while upholding the MUSA constitution and the privacy of all relevant departments?
Sorry, can I see the first page, first sentence,
Of course,
please?
not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, just to clarify, what we mean is not for us to make the fund trackers public, but it is a shared drive right now because it is shared to all departments for them to fill in their details, like their EMS approval and then their budget proposal in there, so that we can process the fund for them. So it's not like it is our plan to make it public. And then to maintain transparency to the student bodies, well, in the AGM, of course, it is an opportunity for us to convey all the financial data and stuff to the students. So a bunch of numbers are not pleasing to see for some people. So some people choose not to go through it. So therefore, like we plan to provide a simple representation in the form of graph or chart that will appeal more to the students to keep them aware of the expenditures on where their students fee allocated to. This is actually have been implemented by the current treasurer, which we found good. So we will also implement this. And then we can actually also work maybe with the publicity teams, like to make social media posts and stuff regarding our financial statements and stuff in the form of story, and maybe to be more creative, maybe in the form of video and feeds, posts, and then yeah, and then yeah, I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you for your clarification, Shellen. Do you have anything to add, Koki?
Nothing. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
then
Shai.
we can move on to our next question. Our next question is from Rashwan, and this one is for Abdullah Khan. In regards to faster payment processing, when it comes to procedures with finance, a lot of time is taken as they receive a lot of requests within small time frames. In the event that it is out of your hand as to how fast finance can process these requests, how will you respond? As giving finance reminders would not change the process.
Yeah. So I think communication can only play in this type of situation. So I will tell my OBs to understand the situation, that in such a small time frame, the payment cannot be done. But on the other hand, I will be updating and asking frequently the finance department to issue the payment as soon as possible.
Thank you, Abdullah. Let's move on to the next question as well. This one's from Li Jiajing. A question to all parties: given the change in system, the process to check the financial flow, such as status of PO, payment, etc., is significantly harder as the treasurers have no control over this. Though I understand the treasurer's stand on this, I believe many people here want an update on the progress on their application status as a safeguard that their events can run. Moving forward, may I know whether you will do something about this, and if so, can you share with us your plans? Anyone can begin.
Okay. So I will hold a meeting with all the stakeholders and explain about the procedure and of fund request and cash reimbursement as soon as I get elected. If they have any ideas to simplify the system, I will definitely consider them. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdullah. Anyone else can take the podium?
Yeah, actually, right now, our remarks in the fund tracker, which states about the progress of the budgets that you guys the departments or clubs are proposing, but we see that we know that not every day the proposer or people will check about the fund tracker, as we have other activities to do. So we would like to send. We are proposing that we would like to send emails about reminding them whether there are notes given by the auditors or treasurers, or about whether their events have been processed by the treasurers. Thank you.
Thank you, Kezia and Senior. What about Ignivitus? Koki and Shellen, I believe you've had quite some time to discuss this. Are you able to give us an answer now?
Oh, wait, can you please scroll to the last line of the question? Like
Of
we missed
course.
it. Okay. Okay, so for this problem, well, I actually agree with Kazia and Sanya that we should like notify them as but I think we can also like beforehand before the terms begin, like we also should inform them that they have the obligation to like to check the fund tracker, because yeah, anyway it is it is their event, like they are the one who wants to hold the event. So yeah, they must have the curiosity on how they're on what's on like if their budget proposal is has been approved or not. So they have this obligation to check on the fund tracker. And yeah, and at the same time we can also help to notify them, for example, if there's any revision needed. And then yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Shellen. I believe we can move on to the next question. So this one is from Dominic Lee. Dominic asks, to all candidates, research has been done on end user experience, asking students and not TRs. The reason why MUSA funding is quite delayed is due to a forced compliance with MUA policies that our system was not equipped to handle. Have all candidates actually consulted the treasurers to determine the feasibility of their proposed solutions? Knowing this, does it change your answer in how you would work with finance to speed up processing of funds, disregarding the lack of knowledge and using your own understanding of the situation? Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
All right. So, to all candidates, research has been done on end user experience, i.e., asking students, however, not asking the treasurers, the TRs. The reason why MUSA funding is quite delayed is due to a forced compliance with MUA policies that our systems was not equipped to handle. Have all candidates actually consulted the treasurers to determine the feasibility of their proposed solutions? Knowing this, does it change your answer in how you would work with finance to speed up processing of funds, disregarding the lack of knowledge and using your own understanding of the situation? Guys, I believe we've taken quite a bit of time to discuss our question. Would anyone like to start with
Yeah.
the answer?
Okay. Uh, this question has been asked by the current president. This means that he is aware of this major problem. So, as we all want to change the status quo, we should have a consensus among ourselves and try to amend the current laws. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Abdullah. Would anyone else like to answer the question? Kezia and Senior, what about you? Would you like to start first?
Yeah, so in our election guide, we also propose that the budget proposal should be requested 4 weeks in advance. So this thing we have consulted it with the current treasurers about the weakness of the current system, and they also agree that it is feasible for the department to submit it 4 weeks in advance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kezia and Senior. Uh, now, what about Ignovitus, Koki, and Shallon?
So for us, it's like to speed up this fund processing. Like we will make sure that we have the budget proposal, we prepare all the documents, and then we will immediately, once everything is prepared like and compiled, like we will send immediately to the finance department, and then we could actually seek we we could actually communicate with the financial department if there are any processes in which the processing period can be cut down. For example, usually funding processes can only be done after getting the EMS approval, and the approval itself takes up a huge amount of time. And then, yeah, we will as a preventive act, like we will also ensure that the members dealing with the funding processes are familiar with the processes, so that there will be no misconduct, or there will be a less chance that the budget proposal need to be revised. And then uh, yeah, and then the process of revision in the budget proposal by the department can also takes up a long time. So yeah, maybe just to make sure that the budget proposal is a success, like maybe we could consider bringing forward the submission deadline earlier for the budget proposal to anticipate and allow more time if revision is required. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ignovitus, for your answer. We have a little bit more time left. I think we can show a few more questions. Uh, okay, so this one is from Ayush Nair. To Koki and Shallon, you guys spoke about having clear job description and to quote, continuous update on the current financial regulations to prevent misconduct. How does updating financial regulation link with preventing misconduct, and how do you plan to solve this issue? Guys, are you ready to answer? I believe you've discussed for quite some time now.
Sorry, Shaun. This our call is unstable, so give me a time a bit more. Sorry.
If you don't answer within the next 20 seconds, I think we will have to skip this question and move on to the next one.
So our answer for this issue is like, if there is there is a change in the financial regulations. For example, the deadline of the budget proposal submission, like it must be it used to be like 10 days before the events, and then the financial regulation suddenly changed it into like 15 days, for example. If we don't communicate this kind of changes to the to the members of the other departments and also our departments, then they won't be aware of it, so that uh, there might be late submission and considered as a misconduct, right? So yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I think we missed out on the last sentence that you just spoke. Could you repeat it again?
Uh, my last sentence. Uh, so it's like, uh, if we don't communicate that, the one that I give example, the deadline of the submission of the budget proposal, then our members and also the members of the other departments like won't be aware of it, so that there might be a late submission, which is uh, considered as a misconduct too.
Okay. Thank you guys for your answer. I think we can have our last question for the night. Alethea, if you could spotlight one of them. So this one is from Raj Kamal, and it's a question for Ignovitas. So Raj Kamal asks, since there are no preventive measures planned on the proposed idea, how will you ensure its success and implement it?
May I know what what does he refer to for the proposed idea? Which idea?
Um, I cannot give you an answer. If Raj Kamal is in the comments and he could clarify his question, I would appreciate it. But seeing as how it is quite a little bit of a vague question as well, if you're not there, I think we can also move on to another question. Raj Kamal, do you think you could specify? Okay, so Jamal has offered an understanding to the question. He proposes that the question is referring to preventive measures regarding their spreadsheet ideas and its privacy.
Oh, Mr.
Wait,
Shaun, can you
Yeah,
show me
I,
the
I'm also looking for it.
slide? Sorry.
No worries.
Okay. Constantly constantly checking and monitoring the fund tracker, having our own separate fund tracker files on the update of the budget proposals, and recon, recon, reconcil, reconciling it with the shared one. This is to check and ensure that the status updated by the treasurer is not manipulated by others. I think it could be an answer.
Okay. Thank you guys for your answer. With that, I think we can conclude our question and answer session from the audience. We have taken quite a bit of time, but I think that this was quite an eventful question and answer session. Without further ado, let's move on to the closing statement. Ignavitus, it is your turn to start with the closing statement. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Uh, First of all, we would like to thank Shaun for moderating this debate that gives us the opportunity to convey our messages and intentions and to uh, pour our thoughts and ideas. We would also like to thank the office bearers, the other candidates, and all audiences for giving us their time to watch this debate. And we are really thankful for each and every questions you gave us because they really open our view to different perspectives and allow us to be mindful of more things related to this position. And I really, and at the last, I really thank to Shalen as my partner, and she really helped me having a fever for these days. Really, thank you.
Shalon, do you have a few words you would like to add on?
Oh yeah, sorry, my mic is not up. So, running for this position, we would like to assure you that we are more than willing to give our best capabilities in accomplishing the responsibilities of a treasurer, to try our best to maintain an appropriate allocation of budget, proper tracking of funds, and transparency. And we will try our best to make future refinement and improvement on things that we see necessary. And other than the technical things, we will also emphasize teamwork and engagement because it plays a crucial role to motivate the team members and prevent miscommunication. So that is all from us. If any of you have questions, do not hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ignavitus, for coming for our debate. Next, we have Kezia and Sina Juliva. Guys, it's time for your closing statement, and the floor is now yours.
So once again, we thank you all for coming and joining this debate session. We also thank you everyone who have commented and asked questions. And to close this, we would like to emphasize on our vision to uphold integrity, maintain transparency, and improve efficiency for the better of MUSA. And we will also work our best for our improvement. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Now, without further ado, we have Abdullah Khan from Lideransia with his closing statement.
Thank you. In my closing statement, I would like to ensure students and office bearer that I have full confidence in myself taking up this job. I believe that I have certain skills such as time management and being financially literate, which are necessary to become a good treasurer. I know it won't be easy, however, as my interests are aligned and my intentions are pure, I commit that I will put my full effort into ensuring that treasury departments work efficiently and satisfy all stakeholders. I would like to end my speech with a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. He said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." Thank you all.
Thank you, Abdullah, for that closing statement and that wonderful quote at the end. So, with that, I would also like to bring a close to the debate. Thank you guys so much for watching us. And I do understand that this was, first of all, our debate started a little later. But nevertheless, thank you for watching and participating and giving us questions. This was the debate for the treasurer's position with our current office bearer Aurelia Wardana, our candidates Koki Taniguchi, Sheldon Marcella Gui from Ignivitus, Abdullah Khan from Liderantia, and Kazia and Sinia Juliva, who are running independently. I would also like to give special thanks to my Deputy Returning Officer, Alethea Go, for maintaining the stream. Our next debate will be tomorrow at 3 o'clock p.m. for our General Secretary position. Our candidate is Urush Fatima, which I believe is from Liderantia. Just a reminder, we have a few platforms for debate updates, election updates, or anything in particular, including our Discord server, our MUSA Instagram, our MUSA website, and our election guide. So do check the other ones out for any other updates regarding the manifestos or the debates or the election at all. Once again, I would like to thank everyone for watching us and do tune in for tomorrow's debate as well. Thank you so much and have a good night.